Hi, Tashidale. Welcome to season 4. I hope you all are taking care of yourself and trying to, be mindful to apply all the safety measures uh, to keep you and your family members and friends safe, and as well as also, try to do whatever possible to, benefit others, heal others from this pandemic. Even just simply by doing prayers and making dedication prayers or molam prayers, or even recitations of 6 syllables of JNSC, whatever is possible. This is the time to, to our prayers or dedicate merits and try to remain calm as much as possible and try to focus internally because after until now we have been always focusing outwardly, taking care of these essential objects, and now is the time to take care of yourself internally and to do some meditation, especially related with this chapter. So it's very good if you're able to do some meditation and try to contemplate the teachings of the Buddha or try to finish your practices. Okay, so before we start, we should pray ravish prayers and then followed by generations of bodhicitta. Sangye je dan soge jo nam la jang jo bar do da ne gyap son je da ge je so ge be so nam ge ro la ben je sangye ro bar sho sangye je dan soge jo nam la jang jo bar do da ne gyap son je da ge je so ge be so nam ge ro la ben je sangye ro bar sho Sangye jo don soge jo nam la jang jo bar do da ne gyap son je da ge je so ge be so nam ge ro la ben je sangye ro bar sho Sanjian Damjian Dewa Dan Deve Gyu Dan Dembara Gyu Je Dunga Dan Dunga Ye Gyu Dan Dawa Gyu Dunga Mebe Dewa Damba Dan Mindawa Gyu Je Ngeren Jada Nye Dan Dewe Dan Yang Jen Bala Neba Gyu Ye Sanjian Damjian Dewa Dan Deve Gyu Dan Dembara Gyu Je Dunga Dan Dunga Ye Gyu Dan Dawa Gyu Je Dunga Mebe Dewa Damba Dan Mindawa Gyu Je Ngeren Jada Nye Dan Tanyo Jembo la Nebra Nyuro Je Semjen Damje Dewa Dan Deve Yu Dan Dembra Yu Je Donga Dan Donga Yin Yu Dan Dawa Yu Je Donga Bebe Dewa Damba Dan Mindawa Yu Je Ngeren Jadan Yin Dan Tanyum Jembo la Nebra Nyuro Je Balden Zave Lama Rimbo Je Dagi Je Ure Peme Den Shola Gaudin Jembe Goden Je Sonde Kuzon Doge Ngodro Zado So Ona Namga Danyam Bezam Jendam Jebana Meba Yamba Zobe Janju Gebo Bala Jine Yango Barja and the Jedo Samba Janju Jodo Dugin. Tambeji Sushindo Nyamzo Lembarja or Nyam de Sem Barajo. Then Lansam Barja which any cup der Nyami Tabulaji and Buji Chogi Sepe and Tabu Targin Dini. So the Dharma teaching that we are trying to understand is the words of wisdom from Gambopa, from his book called Ornament Liberation. And among many chapters, we are now focusing on this particular chapter of meditative concentration. And this is the particular teaching of the engaged bodhicitta. There are different trainings in engaged bodhicitta. So these are the 6 paramitas that we are trying to focus and try to study and try to learn the meaning of these 6 paramitas, and then followed by slowly we'll be able to contemplate its meaning and then apply these trainings into one's life for the benefit of oneself and others. So generations of bodhicitta, you should remember, you should always recall why we are generating bodhicitta, why it is important to generate bodhicitta, both aspirations bodhicitta and engaged bodhicitta. By having a confirmation and by having full understanding of its beneficial effects, and then the reason why you are applying this or cultivating this, then it will be easier for us to put effort or paying diligence in the practice of the Dharma, especially with the trainings of these 6 paramitas. So among all this, we are now focusing on the 5th paramita, that is the meditative concentration. And we also know what is meant by meditative concentration, why we need to meditate. Because from the beginningless time up to until now, our mind is always distracted outwardly. Our mind is always busy, engaged in taking care of sensual objects, sound, smell, taste, texture, so forth. So we have not given so much time internally, trying to focus within ourselves. And therefore we have no kind of experience. Therefore it is very hard for us, to meditate, even to bring our mind into one what you call one pointed try to focus our mind in one particular thing. It's very hard for us, like in our daily experiences. If you are not familiar with meditation practice, it is very hard for you to remain a silence or rest in the peaceful state of mind, or calm abiding state of mind, or focusing on one particular thing just for few seconds. It's very hard for you because you have never paid any attention about this. Our mind has always been distracted, always scattered with different thoughts of past and future. So now it is the time to know about your mind, to have some power to place your mind wherever you want to place it. By then you'll be able to control your mind. When anger arises, you'll be able to control your anger. You'll be able to see the nature of anger. You'll be able to see why you are angry and what is the reason behind it, and it is good or bad to follow anger or not to follow anger. Then you'll have some kind of time to think about it if you have some kind of meditation experiences. Otherwise, you'll become like from beginning this time we have been distracted, and it will again distract you. Our peace of mind will distract it by all these different negative afflictions and emotions. By then we'll be creating many different karmas. So to present this, there are 7 different subtopics of the how Kambaba wants us to know this meditative concentration. So from this, we are now still under the definitions of meditative concentration. And the simple understanding of meditation is, bringing your mind into one state of mind, or calm abiding state of mind. So therefore you are, not distracted with different thoughts. So that's one thing. And you also know that there are different kinds of obstacles in your meditation. And those obstacles you should avoid, try to avoid. And before you avoid them, we need to know what are those. We also need to differentiate, what is thing that we can adopt and what are things that we should avoid. So distractions. Obviously, we need to avoid distractions, both physical distractions of agitations and mental distractions of discursive thoughts. So for that, we need to have some kind of support for the beginner. So we need to distance ourselves from the place where there is a very great risk of developing non-conscious thoughts, acts. So we place ourselves in some safe position, safe situation. Likewise, what we can do is we can also protect our mind from past and future thoughts. We need to protect this body and mind in order to remain and generate, develop this meditative concentration. And slowly you will get better. Gradually you'll be able to. In one day there will be, a day where you can place your mind for hours and hours in one particular object without being distracted by any kind of thoughts, any sound, smell, taste, texture, whatever they are. You are not distracted. You are completely one pointedly, stable and focused. So this is very possible. So that's why we need to know what are the obstacles. So you should avoid those obstacles, and then have all the supports, or requirements for your meditative concentration. And Gambaba also did mention that we need to, in order to pacify our discursive thoughts, we need to train our mind, and we need to meditate on our mind, looking at the different aspects of your mind. When these different types of negative afflictions and emotion arises, what kind of remedy, what kind of antidote we can apply. These are also mentioned by here. So here, now we are trying to understand, how to deal with different negative afflictions and emotions when they arises. Instead of following them, what can we do? This is our homework here. That's why what we need to meditate upon. Analytical meditation here. So when attachment arises, what we need to do. When anger arises, what we need to do. And when you are not having kind of wisdom to discriminate what is good and what is bad, why you are in this samsara, then you need to contemplate on the dependence origination or to a link. So this far we have studied, and today we're going to study the next remedy. How can we meditate and apply remedy to jealousy? So before that, what Buddha said is that we should meditate and apply remedy, for whichever afflicting emotions is strongest in ourselves, within you. So if you are someone who always get jealous or jealousy of others' good things, gain, name, positions, then we need to train this mind. This is not good actually. It will disturb your peace of mind. It will also develop more attachment and more greed. So this is not good. So therefore what we need to do is, Buddha said, we need to practice equalizing yourself and others. That is the remedy here. So how can we do that? We need to have some trainings. We cannot just think, oh, I'm equal like him or her. We are all equal. We are all human beings. So that's not enough. We need to have some kind of specific ideas, specific thing that we need to contemplate upon. So here Khenpo says, the practice of equalizing yourself and others, the remedy for those who have stronger jealousy. So how can you equalize you and others? The easiest way to understand is this: as you want happiness and other sentient beings also want happiness, you are equal. Because you are still a sentient being which who are living in this desire realm. We all have a desire to be happy and not to suffer. So therefore we are equal. So if someone is suffering, then you should have compassion for them. Just like you don't want to suffer, so do others, they don't want to suffer. Just like you want to be happy, so do they. So they have all the rights to be happy. So if someone is getting something good, then instead of jealousy, what we need to do is we need to, oh, yes, that's good for him. He has obtained it, he has gained it, and he is also individual, just like me, want to be happy. So therefore, he gets it, very good, we appreciate it. So this is some kind of how you can minimize jealousy, and then kind of try to appreciate something good for others. Likewise, as you dislike suffering, other sentient beings also dislike suffering. Therefore, you are equal. So therefore, why we need to give more suffering to others? Because at the first place, we also don't want to suffer. Just like me, the other individual have the same feeling, same wish, same intention, same kind of motivation. So therefore, we are same as a human being, living in this desire realm. So therefore, we should not differentiate. We should not have this kind of thinking of jealous about others' belongings. Instead, we need to feel happy about them. We need to feel happy of others' good fortune. We need to be happy about seeing others' success, others' obtainments, and so forth. Therefore, the practice of meditations of cherishing yourself and other sentient beings equally. So therefore, you need to cherish yourself and also cherish the good thing of others. The problem is we do not do this. We cherish ourselves so much, but we don't take care of others. We don't value of others' being. We don't. Therefore, when you do not value of others' achievement or taking care of others, concern for others, then there's the chance of developing jealousy of others' beings, not happy about others' achievement, and so forth. This is because you don't really understand that you are same human being living in this same world, same samsara, having the same wish to be happy and not to be suffer. So therefore, if you're trying to understand this more broadly, that we are all same human being, that we all share the same happiness, and that we all, breathe this same oxygen, that we all drink this same water which comes from the mountain, that we all share this same sun which gives us light, that we all share this moon which also gives us brightness. Likewise, that we all share this earth, Mother Earth, that we all share whatever it grows from this earth, that we equally consume. So therefore, there's no difference. Therefore, there's no need to discriminate one of the other. We are all equally sentient beings. So therefore, if you are trying to able to meditate on this, contemplate over these thoughts, then you will minimize, you will reduce jealousy, and then you'll be able to develop appreciating of others' good value, respecting others, uh, belongings, or respecting others' gain, fame, position, and so forth. This is always good, isn't it? If someone who always appreciates someone's good deeds, that person will be happier, and other person will see this good deed of that particular being, and then they will also appreciate, oh, how nice, how lovely, he's very good. He always appreciates others, what you call positions or gain, name and fame. He is someone who appreciates, who really takes care of others, who really values and respects others' well-being. So therefore, it is good in the mundane level as well. People will have more, he or she will have more good people surrounding and more appreciating people around him or her. So this is what we need to contemplate. So it's quite reasonable, obviously. Then the next one is the next department, that is the pride here. So if you generate pride, you will be very boastful, if you're trying to insult others, if you're trying to look down on others who are less what you call fortunate than you. If someone is like you feel like yourself as more superior than others, then that's another cause of condition and cause of conditions of suffering or trouble. So therefore here Khenpo says, if you have greater problems with pride, you should practice by making an effort to exchange yourself in others. So how you can exchange yourself in others? So this is the question here. These are all mentioned in actually the Lojong practice, the mind training practice. So how you can make effort to exchange yourself in others. This doesn't mean that you have to go to someone's place and he or she has to come to your place, or you have to leave all your belongings or you need to give everything away. That doesn't mean this. This is what it means is that before this practice, what we are doing is we're taking care of ourselves. And we don't bother others, right? We don't take care of others. We don't really, concern for others. But here, what he says, if you, try to exchange, like you cherish yourself so much before, right? Now, if you're trying to change that, then you, instead of cherishing yourself, you're trying to cherish others. This is how you exchange. And before, you do not concern for others so much. Now take that as yourself, exchange that, and you don't take care of yourself so much. You don't pay more attention of your self-cherishing. So in other words, less self-cherishing and more cherishing of others. If you're able to exchange this attitude, just the mental attitude, not necessarily changing everything, your belongings, your goods, and everything. But mentally, if you prepare, because we are now here, what we are trying to do is we're trying to meditate, right? We're not in the field of action. We're trying to meditate, trying to make ourselves, purify our mind, purify our pride, jealousy, hatred, anger, and so forth. And the way how we can purify this is by meditating. Like, oh, I'm okay, I'm just one. I don't have to take care so much of myself. There are thousands and thousands of other people there who are suffering, who need to be taken care, who needs more care, who needs more support. So there, if you're able to try that, then you can reduce cherishing of yourself, and you can expand your loving kindness and compassion, and you always think that, oh, others are more important than me, isn't it? Because from the mathematical point of view also, you're just one and others are hundreds and thousands and billions and millions. So my concern, my well-being, my kind of cherishing is not so important compared with others, because there are thousands and thousands of people who are greater. So in that sense also, if you pay much attention for others and less attention for yourself, that will benefit more beings. If you are someone who pays 100% attention to yourself and 0% to others, then that particular being cannot be bodhisattva at all. There's no way that particular being can be bodhisattva. So this is how you exchange. Slowly, taking care of others more than yourself. Therefore, we say, others before self. Selfless, compassionate attitude, selfless act of dharma. This is what we are encouraged by the Bodhisattva way of life. How we can, practice selfless, and how we can practice cherishing of others, taking care of others, well-being of others. If we are able to do this, it will support your practice of generosity. It will support your practice of loving kindness and compassion, isn't it? So then here again, Khenpo will say, don't think too much, you can just take an example of Buddha and Bodhisattvas. They have been taking care of others. They have no self-cherishing at all. And as a result, where are they now? They are all enlightened beings. They are all free from suffering of samsara. How lovely. And where are we? Individual human beings. Where are we now? We have been taking care of ourselves so much from the beginningless time. And as a result of that, we are still suffering. We are still under the chain of 12 link. So therefore, he says here, the Buddha cherish others and work for their benefit, so they attain Buddhahood. Childish sentient beings always cherish themselves and work for their own benefit, so they suffer. So this is the example that we can think about. So if you really want to benefit sentient beings, if you really want to attain complete and perfect Buddhahood, bodhicitta is the only way how you can, do this. And in bodhicitta, there are two. Don't forget aspiration bodhicitta and engaged bodhicitta. These are equally important. And we are talking about trainings in engaged bodhicitta, and meditative concentration is also, practice or trainings of engaged bodhicitta. So how we can develop all these qualities is through meditation. Okay. So therefore, understand that self-cherishing is a fault and giving up self-grasping. So, so we need to give up our self-cherishing and self-grasping. Instead, we need to exchange and cherish of others, develop the attitude of cherishing others. And understand that cherishing others is a good quality and holds others as yourself. Being equally important, every sentient being is equally important, just like yourself. Every sentient beings, by their being there, is also a great contribution to my well-being. Because as I mentioned earlier sessions, the food that you eat, the clothes that you wear, the everything, every daily basic needs which you are consuming, which you are utilizing, this all has different contributions of different people. So therefore, they are also equally important for your life, for your well-being. So then, taking care of others actually indirectly taking care of yourself, isn't it? So if you are, skillful, if you're smart, then you'll be able to, look the situation in that way, that perspective. So, and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas always encourage us to develop this kind of attitude. Okay, so that's the end of the teaching of how to meditate and apply remedy to the different departments. So you yourself is the best, person to and what you call judge yourself. What kind of emotion level you have the strongest? Then try to apply these remedies. So in order to apply this remedy, it's not easy, just like saying here and hearing this, we need to have some training, how can you apply this remedy of, first the uh, contemplating on the ugliness, and second contemplating or generating loving kindness and compassion, and contemplating on dual links, contemplating on the equalizing of yourself and others, contemplating on exchanging yourself and others. These are easy to read, easy to understand, but these are not easy to practice. So in order to practice, what we need to do is we need to have some kind of meditation concentration, experience of meditative concentration. So next is how we can start meditating. So the sixth here is the afflicting emotions of equal strength. So if you are someone who has all the negative afflictions, emotions are equally strong. Before we are talking about whichever stronger, whichever afflicting emotions are strongest, we need to apply remedy to them one after another. But here, if you're someone who has the equally, all negative afflictions are emotions are equally powerful, then what do we need to do then? The next is if the afflicting emotions are of equal strength or power, or if you have discursive thoughts, lots of discursive thoughts, if you are someone who is always distracted by different thoughts, always distracted by sensual objects, always distracted by negative emotions and emotions, then you should train in the breath. Take a deep breath and place your mind on breathing. So this is the beginning process, how we can meditate. Practice the meditations of watching the breath, counting the breath, and following the breath, and so forth. 6 in all. So there are different techniques, how you can meditate, start meditating on this. The Treasury Abhidharma Sutra says there are 6 types of, this breathing exercises: counting, following, abiding, analyzing, transforming, and truly purifying. So these are a technique how you can place your mind in one point quickly. Because if you have not training of this, then you are always distracted, and this is not good. If you are always distracted, then there's more chances of falling into a trap of negative afflictions and emotions, and which will be the cause for your future suffering. So you don't want to do that. You have enough suffering, so we don't want to suffer again. So we try to minimize, slowly dispel the cause of suffering of samsara. So here I would like to mention a little bit about the that some techniques from samadhi meditation. So there are also different instructions on meditation, for the beginners. So I would like to focus on the 9 different steps of meditation, or nine ways how we can place your mind into one point. Okay. So the first one is known as placing your mind, or just resting your mind. So this is what we are trying to do right now. Okay, placing your mind on breath. So trying to count 1, 2, 3. Right? So this is known as placing your mind, the first one. And this happens because of having some kind of idea that meditation is important, with listening teachings of meditation instructions. Therefore, you want to meditate. This is the first step. The second step is then when you place your mind on breathing, for example, will it stay there as you count, or are you distracted? So usually you're distracted. After a few seconds, you're distracted. Why? Because you have not experienced it, because you have not practiced it. So the second one is called continual placement. The first is placing your mind, and the second one is continual placement, which is, if you want to understand what is meant by continuous placement, this is like, prolonging the time of placement, expanding the time of placement. First is just placement, and then it is not easy, obviously, but then continuous placement, trying to place again and again, again and again, again and again. Just like bird, you have seen bird trying to what do you call, take the juice from the flower. That bird or the bee, for example, bee will come and touch the flower and go away, and then come again, go away, come again, go away, until the bee sees there's no danger of his life, he's protected. Then he will just stick there and enjoy the juice of the flower. Likewise, our mind, placement first, not easy, distracted again, and you should not give up there. Some people give up right away, and that's not going to happen. So you need to continue placement, continue place your mind. Try to continuously place your mind on that particular object, or for example here in breathing, continuously placing your mind on breathing. And we can increase this time, first few seconds, then 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, up to 5 minutes. So then counting goes well. And when you're able to focus on counting your breath, and you're not forgetting your breath, not forgetting the count, then you are not distracted. So this is counting and expanding that into, gradually expanding that period of time. Then the third one is known as the persistent placement. What does this mean? So when we place our mind into breathing, for example, it may frequently distracted by different sensual faculties, sensual objects, sound, smell, so forth. So we should rely, at that time what we need to do is we should rely on the power of mindfulness to bring our mind, to back to previous focus. Okay, placement was there, and continuous placement was there, but then sometimes what happens is after some time you forgot. You forgot your count of breath. Actually, we are supposed to count up to 21 times, right? But then after 10 or 11, you are distracted, you forgot that. Then what you need to do is you need to bring it back again, and by the power of mindfulness, we need to place that again. So this is called persistent placement. Then this is by the help of mindfulness. The next one is known as proximate placement or greater placement. Now we have introduced placement, first one, continuous placement, second one, persistent placement, third one, and the fourth one is proximate placement. So what happened in this stage? In this stage, the power of mindfulness gets stronger than before. So before it was support of mindfulness, but now here you have some kind of stability now. So you see, it is growth. So it will help you to place your mind into breath, for example. So the mind begins to achieve some kind of stability, and with your powerful antidotes. For example, when your mind is in distractions and agitation, remind yourself that if you can't even focus for a short time, how you can have the meditative concentration, how you can have the full control of your mind. So trying to sometimes, with little bit of forcing yourself, oh, why can't I can't even focus for a short time? How can I achieve enlightenment? So I must continue. I must put more effort. I must be more diligent. I should not lose my focus. Something like that. So this is known as, proximate placement. Then the fifth one is called training the placement. How to tame, And then when you are placing your mind, sometimes there's shortcomings falling down or distractions. And then at that time, sometimes what we need to do is we need to tame our placement. How to tame your mind. And the process of doing this is, through keeping thinking of beneficial effects of meditation. Oh, I should not be lazy. I should not get distracted. I should continue, my diligently practice meditation concentration, because this is wonderful thing. You need to tame your mind. This is wonderful thing. The practice of meditative concentration is very good. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the past, they also trained this mindfulness. Therefore, they are able to achieve a primordial wisdom, enlightenment. So this is how you can encourage yourself. So thus we need to think of this and other benefits of the meditative concentration. And this is how it will encourage you. This is called the taming placement occurred through the power of vigilance. Then the sixth is known as pacifying placement. Pacifying or purifying placement of your mind. There would be many faults if you're trying to think and contemplate. There will be many faults and shortcomings and dangers of generating negative afflictions and emotions if I do not meditate, if I am distracted, if I do not continue my meditation. These evils of negative afflictions and emotions, these maras are waiting. They are stand by waiting, try to control over my mind, try to take away my peaceful state of mind. So therefore, we're trying to see this, trying to focus the faults of not being able to do meditative concentration, or faults of agitations, faults of distracted thoughts, conceptual thoughts, and so forth. So we should place our mind on breathing diligently. Then the next one, seventh one, is called more powerful what do you call this? Pacifying more strongly, pacifying your mind more strongly. And so for example here, so this is the perfect time, applying remedy towards your negative addictions and emotion. So here, this is the time when anger arises within you. Try to, apply remedy. When stinginess or jealousy arises, you try to place, remedy there. So for example, when desire arises, we shall apply its antidote, such as thinking of the object of that desire has no kind of any true inherent existence. They are impermanence, they are suffering nature, and so forth. When anger arises, we should apply, generations of loving kindness and compassion. When you are ignorant, you should focus on the dual link. So all the instructions that Khenpo has given earlier, this is the time. You cannot apply those remedies right away because we don't have any kind of experience of meditation. So this is only at the seventh level, seventh time, when you process all this first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth level or ways of placement of your mind. Then only you'll be able to have some kind of stability, and then only you'll be able to apply those antidotes. Otherwise, if you're trying to apply antidotes right away, you're distracted. You have not capacity to apply those antidotes because you are distracted. You are easily distracted. Your mind will not be there where you want to place them. Your focus is always taken away. And the eighth one is called the single pointedness. So this is where now you can place your mind, more as per your wish. So you are more powerful than the discursive thoughts. Now you have some kind of control over your mind. So this is the eighth, where it's called the single pointedness. It means that after a long time practice of meditation, our mind be free from gross constitutional thoughts, and basically we can focus one pointedly on whatever object we want to meditate upon. So either it is to apply remedy to those negative afflictions and emotions, or either it is to focus on our breath, or either it is to focus our Sat as a Idam deity. So whatever you want to practice, now we have the capacity to do so. And then finally, the ninth is called as the resting in equanimity. So what does this mean? Here, In due course, one can gradually eliminate all gross and subtle forms of thoughts. So here, equanimity means then the ninth one is equanimity, remaining in equanimity, meaning that you don't have some desire for that, peaceful state of mind, or you don't have some kind of anger or negative thoughts about the distractions. So you're kind of equal. You are kind of in the neutral of these two thoughts. In other words, you are now free from conceptual thoughts of good or bad. I must achieve this. I'm avoiding this kind of actually not there, or you'll be able to minimize those kind of conceptual thoughts. So thereby you can remain in peaceful state of mind. Without overwhelmed by both sides. So this is necessary in order to practice, try to make our meditative concentration stable yet peaceful and joyfulness. So this is how we can start. This is actually mentioned in different teachings, 7 or 9 ways to rest your mind, or 9 methods of placement of your mind. So here, additional to that, in the traditions of secret mantra system, one trains without, see here again, one trains without avoiding, practicing, or transforming the afflicting emotions. So there are different teachings according to different capacity of students. So Buddha convey different types of teachings according to different capacity of the students or listeners. So in the beginning, people who are not as much uh, who do not have much capacity to understand the whole teachings, for those individuals, Buddha may have taught them that you need to get rid of these negative afflictions and emotions. They are not good for you. We need to, eliminate them. And in order to do so, we have process, path, how to apply remedy, antidotes are there. But here in Secret Mantra Vajrayana traditional, our practice become more advanced level, then we should be free from these conceptual thoughts of good and bad. Something bad that we need to avoid, something good that we need to adopt. This kind of, if you have this kind of conceptual thoughts, then this is called again obstacles for your path. So therefore, in Vajrayana tradition, we do not, see afflicting emotions as something that need to be avoided, or that need to be sometimes transformed, or need to be eliminated. But we can deal with the negative afflictions and emotions. We can take them as the path to liberation. So therefore, it says here. Here again, or there's the system of marvelous lineage, which should be understood through the oral instructions, masters and disciple, oral instructions, by taking care of disciples' development, by knowing the disciples' development and process of meditative concentrations, and then teacher will instruct them according to the level of their practice, according to the capacity of their particular students. So it's not necessary that we have to follow all the teachings, because it may not be helpful again. So we need to know where our capacity is, where are we, and what kind of instructions is more beneficial for ourselves. This are the way how we can benefit sentient beings by showing the Dharma. One can understand all this through the co-emergence, pervading primordial wisdoms and 6 dharmas of glorious Narupa. So particularly in the Vajrayana teaching, there are many techniques, there are many ways how we can really see the true nature of our thoughts, true nature of our mind. That is why in Kagyu lineage prayer we also say that the essence of our thought is Dhammakaya. So before we have been studying their thoughts, discursive thoughts are not good, they are obstacles, we need to get rid of discursive thoughts and all. But once you reach some kind of higher level of understanding, advanced level of understanding, particularly in Vajrayana practice, then we, there's a way how we can see the essence of thought as Dharmakaya. So the thought itself is not something that we need to be avoiding, that need to be avoided. We can see its essence as Dharmakaya. So this is special technique of seeing and then liberating from suffering of samsara. In other words, we do not need to eliminate thoughts. We need to see its essence. So when you see the essence of thought as emptiness, then we are seeing the essence, that thought as Dharmakaya. That's why there's a prayer in Kagyu lineage. These are the gradual process to mind in order to enter into the path of meditative concentration. So there are different ways how we can enter into meditative concentration. Okay, so if you want to go more detail about this, then you need to get instructions from your guru about particularly Sikhi Mantra Parjayana. Is not something that we need to we can just understand through public teachings. For this, we need to have particular commitment to be able to understand these teachings, to get oral transmissions and empowerments and so forth. There are many different ways how we can train this. But simply training your mind, trying to tame your mind, trying to bring your mind, free your mind from discursive thought. There are many different techniques one you can apply in order to make your meditative concentration stable and strong. Now, the third point is the classifications of meditative concentration. Actual meditative concentration has three classifications. Meditative concentrations of abiding in the blissful state at the present, meditative concentrations for accumulating good qualities, and meditative concentration for benefiting sentient beings. So here, three types of meditative concentration. First one is trying to bring your mind into one pointness. Second one is on top of that, as a base, on top of that, we're trying to develop qualities. We're trying to develop different types of Buddha qualities within that meditative concentration. And finally, after attainment of these qualities, what do we need to do? Should we keep that quality for ourselves and enjoy the rest of our life in the meditative concentration, peaceful state of mind forever? Well, you can, but then are you benefiting any sentient beings? No, you're not. So therefore, again, we should remember what was our commitment when we give rise to bodhicitta. We said, we want to benefit all sentient beings. So now it is the time to benefit all sentient beings after attainment of these qualities. So therefore, third type is meditative concentrations of benefiting sentient beings. Okay. The first one is the method to make proper vessel of one's own mind. First one is to prepare yourself. If you have not prepared yourself, if your mind is not one-pointedly or single-pointed mind there, if your mind is always scattered around and always distracted by different thoughts, then there's no way to attain the other two meditative concentrations, the second and third. So what we need to do is we need to train our mind. We need to have some kind of experience in meditative concentration. And this is the preparedness. This is the foundation for your meditation. Okay, or this is the foundation for the development of other two meditative concentrations. Second one is the establishment of all Buddha's qualities on the basis of proper vessel. And third one is benefiting sentient beings. So we have foundation, we have quality, and we have activity to benefit others. The next point, the fourth point, is characteristic of each of those classifications. The first one, abiding in bliss, meaning you are not distracted by different addictions and emotions. No, you are not distracted by this, what you call sensual objects. You are at the state of the peaceful state of mind, calm, abiding state of mind. This is what we need to do, right? We need to have some control over our mind. We need to give job to our mind, so we'll be able to remain calm and peaceful. So here, Meditative concentration of abiding in bliss at the presence is explained in Bodhisattva Buddhism. So we are always distracted by either past or future, but we never lived, and we never have lived in the present. So now we are trying to live in present, and that present is also in the blissful state, okay, not in angry or curiosity state or anxiety state, but blissful state of mind. The meditative concentrations of all the bodhisattvas are free from discursive thoughts. Obviously, if you are meditating, then you need to be free from these different thoughts. And also perfectly ease the body and mind, and supremely specified, and is free from arrogance, does not experience the taste, and is free from perceptions which describe the mind abiding in a blissful state during this life. So what does this mean? So one after another, there's a meaning here. Free from discursive thoughts means maintaining the mind one-pointedly. That's quite easy to understand, but hard to apply. So we need to start. We need to start applying our mind, placing our mind by using all those different 9 ways of placement. You should remember these 9 ways of placement. So when you have time, you can Google this 9 ways of placing your mind and try to focus on each of them and try to utilize them into your practice of meditation. This will be very beneficial. Once you are able to do that, you'll be free from discursive thoughts. So you're living in present, then you're not distracted by thoughts of past and future, but you are now living in present. And free from, free from discursive thoughts such as existent and non-existent and so forth. So you're free from different thoughts of good or bad or having or not having or any kind of that. But you're just remaining at the peaceful state of mind. Or you are just focusing yourself in the to the image of Buddha, then you'll be able to do so. Or if you are just focusing your mind on the breathing exercise, you'll be able to do so. So you will not be distracted by good things or bad things. I want this, I don't want this, anger, attachment, they have no place to enter there. You are completely, truly engaged in present blissful state of mind. Perfectly ease the body and mind. What does this mean? This means that eliminating all negative actions of the body and mind. Because once you are one pointedly focused on virtues, there is no chance to accumulate non-virtuous act. So this is what it means by here. All the negative actions of body and mind are pacified, at least for that moment, because you are not accumulating this or creating negative karma there. And then supremely pacified means that following effortlessly. So therefore, that remaining of mind, blissful state of mind is continued, and is, always practiced with diligently and with joyfully. That's what we mean by following simply what you call supremely pacified. So you're continuing that practice. Free from arrogance. What does this mean? This means free from the afflicting emotions of view. Or you will have no pride in your meditation, and you don't criticize others who are not doing meditation, but you are just enjoying your meditation and peaceful state of mind. There's no arrogance at all. Not experiencing the taste. What does this mean? This means that not having afflicting emotions of existence. So you're not, you don't have afflicting emotions of the samsara. You don't pay attentions about the object of sensual sensual objects, form, sound, smells, texture. You're not distracted by them. You have now power when you want to place, where you want to place, and when you want to place. And obviously, you see the shortcomings and fault of these sensual objects. As an impermanence nature, as a suffering nature, so you don't want to pay so much attention towards them, and you want to free yourself from these flags of sensual objects. Okay. Then finally, free from perception. What does this mean? This means we're free from enjoyment of form and so forth. So similar meaning in more detailed way. then you're free from enjoyment of temporary happiness. You're free from the taking care of this lifetime's what you call happiness. Then you are more free from attachment in the pleasure of samsara. Then you're free from the attachment of the what you call good and bad, feeling of good and bad. Then you'll be able to free yourself. You remember in dual link, when the contact happens, your organ, object, and consciousness. When that contact happens, there's feeling, and when you see this good feeling, if you have that perceptions of good, then you'll have craving and grasping, and then creations will come. But when you do not have that perceptions of good and bad, you don't differentiate this. You have in equanimity mood or neutral mood, then there's no chance of creating bad karma. Okay. The doors of all the different ways are the 4 meditative concentrations will be established. The first, second, third, and fourth. That means 4 dhyanas that we studied, in previous chapters. The meditative concentration has the subtle, analytic, and discursive mental factors. The first meditative concentration has the quality of the subtle, analytic, and discursive mental factors. And then second dhyana has the joy. Third dhyana has the very subtle bliss, and fourth dhyana has equanimity. So we already studied this in chapter 6, page number 118, karma and its result. So you go back and check, and to refresh yourself, to remind yourself. Okay, next, second type of meditative concentration is accumulating good qualities. So now the first basic is well established, so you're not distracted by different thoughts. Now next is, now you are able to contemplate more strongly and one pointedly. So there, when you have that, then the quality will develop. The qualities, bodhisattva qualities of your mind, meditative observations, different type of meditative observation will flourish itself. So that's what it means by here. The meditative concentrations accumulating good qualities is either uncommon or common. Uncommon meaning uncommon to lower vehicles, and common means common to both lower and Mahayana vehicles. So the first is uncommon for lower vehicles, which is extraordinary results of the Mahayana vehicle. The first is limitless, inconceivable variety of meditative concentration related to the 10 strengths. So what are 10 strengths? You can Google them. These are the qualities of the bodhisattvas and Buddhas, like knowing what is correct and what is incorrect, knowing the results of all the detailed actions, knowing the aspirations of beings, knowing all the elements, knowing all the different ways of established meditative concentration, knowing all the paths, knowing all the different capacities of the beings, knowing previous lifetimes of yourself and others, and knowing death and future life, and knowing the development, all your development, whether your development has exhausted or not. You have all these strengths or powers to be able to understand and discriminate. Whereas the lower vehicle practitioner in lower vehicle head, they have limited strength. Okay, so if you want to study those, again you need to go and study one after another. These are all the good results of meditative concentration. Obviously, the final result is Buddhahood, but then before that, there are many different types of meditative results of good qualities of meditative concentration, including clairvoyance and so forth. Even this is called uncommon because even the name of these 10 strengths are not heard by hearer and solitary realizers. So how can they enter into them? So that's just the saying by Khenpo here. The common qualities, the common qualities are 8 liberations, 8 suppressings, 10 increasing exhaustions, and 4 discriminating awareness, and so forth. So there are also many different good qualities in once you practice meditative concentration. Well, the names are common, their nature are dissimilar. and so forth are held in common with the hairy and solitary realizer. So those which are mentioned here are common to the lower vehicle practitioner as well. But sometimes their name may be similar, but their quality may be there's some dissimilar in the qualities. So this is something that we need to experience when you meditate, when you have meditative concentration. So it's very hard to tell what kind of qualities are there. Once if you're not aware of it, if you're not experiencing meditative concentration. So the third one is benefiting sentient beings, and obviously this is our objective. We need to benefit sentient beings, that's for sure. So one can manifest limitless bodies depending on any of the meditative concentrations and benefit sentient beings in 11 ways, such as providing whatever supports is needed and so forth, as explained in chapter 13. So benefiting sentient beings through this, because of this meditative concentration, you have power, you have capacity, you have all the good qualities. So you can manifest your body into 1,000 different forms and go into 1,000 different places and benefit 1,000 different beings. So this is a wonderful thing to do. But we need to experience and see this result by itself. Okay, so now in that case, they are state called calm abiding and special insight. So in meditation, there are two, calm abiding state, shine, and special insight, lakton. So these two. What is calm abiding and what is special insight? So calm abiding is the perfect absorptions of mind with mind. So placing our mind on the nature of our mind, or placing our mind one pointedly on virtues. That's a calm abiding state of mind, shine or samadhi. Special insight means clarity, discriminating what is right and what is wrong on that basis. What is good, what is bad, what is wrong, what is right. So it's like wisdom awareness. So that's why it's called hakton, insight, or seeing the true nature of things, or true nature of our mind. Or in other words, calm abiding is the actual meditative concentration, and special insight is wisdom awareness. Okay. So finally, how to increase this meditative concentration, how to perfect it, and what is the result of it. So these are very similar that was presented by Gampopa in previous chapters of different paramitas. So briefly, I'll tell you how can we increase our meditative concentration is by through promoting wisdom, wisdom awareness, and dedication. So first one, through promoted wisdom, meaning being free from three spheres, meditator, meditation, and object of, and the what you call object of meditation. What kind of meditation you are doing? So if you have the what you call attachment to this, then you are not free. You are still clinged by, you are still under trapped by the samsara. Also, if you can see the non-existence of these three, or if you are free from these three spheres, for example, no attachment on, oh, I am the one who is doing meditation. This is the meditation Sorry for the interruption. So finally, how to perfect our meditative concentration, and how to increase our meditative concentration, and finally the result of meditative concentration. So we're talking about how we can perfect our meditative concentration. In order to become perfected meditative concentration, we need to practice this. Otherwise, if you are lacking this quality, then your meditative concentration is just meditative concentration, but not the perfect meditative concentration. So this is something that we need to understand. Okay. So perfection here, how we can make our meditative concentration a perfect one, is by through the three qualities here. Then three qualities. Oh, before that, increasing of the meditative concentration, I think I've left two other components there. So first one is being free from these three spheres, meditator, meditation, and what kind of meditation you are doing. So if you have kind of attachment towards these three, then you're not free from uh, what you call samsara. So your practice of meditative concentration is not perfect one. So in order to make that, you want to increase this, then how we can increase this through these three means. The first one is being free from these spheres. Then second one is having wisdom awareness. And this here, first, before you do meditation, you have to generate bodhicitta. You have to think that I'm meditating this for the benefit of all sentient beings. So, in other words, it is what you call intended. Your intention is to benefit sentient beings. Then the second one is in the middle. Uh, Whatever your meditation, you should not have attachment towards your meditation. So you need to be free from attachment towards your meditation. And finally, you should not have some kind of wish for the result, nor any kind of condition. So your meditation here should be unconditional, not expecting good result or something. And if you are able to do this, then you can increase your meditative concentration. And the third component, in order to make your meditation increase, is by dedication. And this is very important. Once you dedicate, it is kind of skillful way to share your merits for all sentient beings, and then that will be not lost. Otherwise, we know from different instructions that if you do not dedicate your meditation, whatever dharma practice you do, then there's a danger of losing them when you have greater anger or aversion takes place. So this is how you can increase your meditative concentration. And the next one is how you can perfect your meditation. So perfecting your meditation through two means. One is supported by wisdom or preventing emptiness, and another is supported by compassion. So if you're able to do this, then your meditative concentration will be perfect one. So supported by emptiness, if it is supported by emptiness, then it will not become the cause of suffering. And if it is supported by compassion, then it will not become the cause for lower vehicles. So therefore, you need to have the support of these two things, preventing emptiness and compassion, as explained in earlier chapters. So this is how you can perfect your meditative concentration. And in order to have support from the emptiness, we need to understand that it should be stamped by 4 seals of emptiness, as it mentioned in different parameters, how we can perfect our parameters. So here I want to remind you that one should practice this wisdom, this concentration or meditative concentration with 4 seals, as it's mentioned in the first parameter, just like it is mentioned in the first parameter. And what are these 4? One should be sealed by preventing emptiness of inner body, sealed by the emptiness of outer meditation, or object of meditation, sealed by the emptiness of subjective mind, and sealed by emptiness of the Dharma of enlightenment. So in other words, whatever meditation practice you are doing, you should at all time, you should understand the emptiness nature of all phenomena. Either it is you, your meditation, object of your meditation, your internal mind, your outer body. You should not forget these are all the nature of emptiness. Or you should not, forget that these are the reality facts of non-existence. So if you're able to have these 4 seals in your practice, then you become that whatever practice you do is become perfected parameters. So this is why it's called perfections of uh, meditative concentration. So if you are lacking this, then you may be meditating, but your meditative concentration is not perfect. And the next one is supported by compassion means, you are meditating because you cannot bear the suffering of others. So you really want to benefit sentient beings by showing them the true path. You really want to benefit sentient beings and free them from suffering of samsara. Therefore, you really want to have some kind of ability to do so. And this is why you are meditating, That is the supported by compassion. It's not just not for yourself, it is for others. There's no self-centered attitude involved. There's selflessness, attitude of benefiting others is involved here. This is not what is known by supported by compassion. So if we have these two, compassion and emptiness, sealed by these two, then your meditative concentration is the perfect meditative concentration. Okay, now finally, the 7th topic is the result of meditative concentration. Obviously, the final result is Buddhahood, there's no doubt. But then here, one should understand the result of meditative concentration in ultimate and conventional state in 2 levels. In the ultimate state, one attains unsurpassable enlightenment, for sure, there's no doubt at all. As it says in the Bodhisattva Bhumi, Bodhisattvas, by fully perfecting meditative concentration, attain the unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment, will achieve the complete enlightenment and are attaining the complete and perfect enlightenment. In the next level, in the conventional or the relative level, one will attain body of gods, free from the desire realm. So this is the temporary or the relative level of attainment. As it's said by Nagarjuna, Acharya Nagarjuna, by fully abandoning the joy, happiness, and suffering of desire world, one will achieve state equal to the gods. Of the Brahma, clear light, increasing virtue, and great fruit, God levels of the 4 meditative concentrations. So these are the temporary or the conditional level of attainment by practicing meditative concentrations. So this is the 16th chapter dealing with the meditative concentration from the Jew Ornament of Liberation, the wish fulfilling gym of noble teachings. So this ends our season 4's instructions, particularly focusing on the meditative concentration, which is very important, which is the key practice in order to realize the wisdom, the 6th parameter. So therefore, this particular practice or meditative concentration is considered as something very important. So therefore, we need to study, contemplate, and try to apply these teachings as much as possible in our day-to-day life. So finally, I would like to thank you very much for your time. And I also would like to thank all the management team who are working behind the scene for making this teaching available, especially in this month of Sagatawa, a very auspicious month of the Buddha's. So it is. I also feel very fortunate that I'm able to share some dharma from this Kampopa's during on my liberation, and I do hope that it has some way benefited you, and I hope that you will have some time for your life, in your years ahead, that you will be able to contemplate these teachings and apply them into your day-to-day life, especially dealing with your negative afflictions and emotions. This was wonderful teaching, how one can apply remedy, meditate and apply remedy to particular different types of negative afflictions and emotions. Obviously, it is not easy to do, but there's a way how we can do, how we can achieve these trainings, these results, and this will make different, great change, bring lots of changes in your life, especially dealing with your negative afflictions and emotions. So, which is very necessary in this 21st century, because we are always distracted, always distracted by different things, and so we need to free ourselves from these distractions. And the only way how we can free ourselves from this distraction is through practice of meditative concentration. Okay, so I wish you all the best, and I hope you'll do the same. You'll do the same practice for to benefit yourself and others. So at last, we need to dedicate these merits for the benefit of all sentient beings, and also to pray for this, healing of this pandemic as soon as possible. So nam di tamje se ba ni thobe ni be tanam pamje ni ke ka na che palok to ba se be so le do go ni do sho jang jo sen cho rin bo che ma ke panam ke gyo che ke ba nyam ba me gong ne gong do ka wa sho sem je ne ba jin ye ba nyu do ne le ta gyo che to ye ne ne ma ta do jung la ne. Okay, stay safe.